headphones are dying, so I'll have to play the tunes, but mute myself for a little bit. All right. All right. Hey, Miss Kitty. Hello, Miss Kitty. Hello. What's your shaved bum? Hello, Miss Kitty. All right. Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Gonna probably just hop on for a little bit here. I'm not really feeling that good today. Just to get a little bit of stuff done today. I would like to work on our stock project that we started yesterday, or we started like kind of revising yesterday. Oh, getting notifications over here, giving me the notifications. Let's let those AirPods charge up here. So, yeah, let's go ahead and work on our project here. So yesterday we wrote in these couple of functions: current price, current volume, current average volume, and then get average volume given a period, right? And then we have get relative volume over a period, right? And so what I'm going to do is I want to, let's do like 3 there. Okay, so what I want to do today is I want to work on, I'm really good at knowing what I want to work on, and then when I come on the stream I kind of go blank. But I would like to work on get relative volumes, a method to get the relative volumes for a given period of time. So we're gonna say get relative volumes given self, and then the period, which will be an integer, and then and then around int, which is going to be equal to 2 up front. We're going to return a list of should be a list relative volumes every day in the past. It should be a list of volumes, like it should be a list of or should we do a dictionary? No. Okay, let's do we'll return a list of floats. Okay, so what we're going to do is say we're going to say, so we want to get the relative volumes for the given period. So it's going to be similar to the get average volumes in the sense, where you have periods that you can select from. And then what you're going to do is get relative volumes for every rotate volumes up until I locate a period up until that day currently. Hold on, so we have the periods that we want to select over, right? If they're not valid, we raise the error. We get the history for the ticker over 1 year. And then we're going to get the relative volumes over 1 year. But that's volumes. This equals the history of volume. And you take the mean of volumes to get the average volume. And then the get relative volume is self.get average volume over the period. In chats. Yo, Dad Steel, what's going on, my boy? What's going on? So we're gonna get the relative volume given the get volume. Get average volume of the period. Then you take the current volume divided by the average. Okay. So the thing is this gets the average volume for the last X amount of days, but this doesn't give you. So we want to get the relative volumes for every day of the period. That means we need to get the history, right? Get the volumes. Go back the amount of the period. But get average volume for that period. Goes up until 1 year. My brain's not working today, you guys. It might be a short stream. Oh my gosh, I'm struggling today. Not really feeling that great. My mind's pretty foggy. I'm confused. So if I want to get the relative volumes, I can't really do it this way because I have to get the average basically for every single day up until that point. So I need to get the history of 1 year. So if I get let's just start off with this. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing as before here, right? And now what we're gonna do is we have history is this data frame for 1 year. And we're going to, okay, so we're gonna say, we get a list of all of the volumes. That's all the volumes except for the current day. But then this calls get average volume, which takes in the volumes for that said period. But on that day, the relative volume no, because okay, so we have a period. Oh, that's 50 days. Okay. Okay, so we would have to do this. For I in for every day in range of the period, right, we're going to get a history, and then we're going to so we're going to say for I in range of the period, we are going to right, we're going to this is for every day in the period, right? We're going to call get average volume, right? Get average volume which returns daily average volume, right? Over that period. Right, you pass in the period. So if we want to get the average volume for every day in the period, and then we want to get relative volume. No, I guess it would just be get relative volumes. Get relative volume given the period, the round digits. Right? Because what this is going to do is going to say, okay, it's going to go over for every number, 5, 10, 15, 20, for like 365 relative volumes given the same period for each of the average volume. Right? And so then what we're going to do is just go like this, actually. Return a list of val for I know we're going to say self.get relative volume period and the round digits for in range period, right? A list of the relative volumes. This is correct. Get average volumes. This method looks good. Works as intended. Calculating the mean of the last period of trading days. Get relative volume. This is almost correct if self-current volume exists and is up to date. Yes. Get relative volumes. Here's the issue. This comprehension list just calls get relative volume repeated with the same value, meaning it'll get a list of identical numbers. All right. Okay, so get relative volume of the period So the self.get relative volume just takes in a period and gets the average volume currently. Okay, so we'd have to get the average volume. Right? We get a volumes. Average volumes is mean. There's a volume divided by the average volume for V in volumes. Divided by the average volume for every V in volumes. Get historical volumes for the last period of days, computes their average, returns a list of each repeating the day over the average volume. It's computing the over the so the average volume in this case is always the same and not the average volume for that day given the back period. Yeah, exactly. So that the way that currently stands is this, where we do this. What you actually want is a rolling relative volume for each day. A rolling window average. So to do a rolling window average is this here. So you say, you get the history over the 1 year, and then you have a list of volume, right? And then you say rolling average is equal to volumes dot rolling. Oh, so there's a rolling method here. I didn't know that. So relative volumes. Got you. Okay. That's interesting. So what we can do is say this part here, right? History period, and then we'll get the volume, right? And then what we'll say is the rolling average is equal to volumes dot rolling over the window equal to the period, right? And then we'll collect the rolling average. So this returns a rolling data tape list, which is a series. Okay. So this is compute a rolling average, and then we can print. No, but this. But you're doing rolling dot mean. That's the key between looping and pandas vectors rolling down mean. Let's unpack this carefully because you're thinking about it right, but the behavior might not be obvious. When you call this, it already loops internally. Pandas does the iteration for you under the hood much faster than calling a for loop. For each index I, it looks back periods of rows 20 days. Computes the mean for those period values. Stores that result in the same position as I. So you get a per day average, not a single mean. Okay, so this is a list. Got you. And so then you just do the volumes. You do right, you do the relative volumes. Is equal to volumes divided by the rolling averages. Then you have relative volumes is equal to relative volumes that drop the nan, just in case there are any. Then you're going to return a list of round val round digits for val in range, in relative volumes. And then, but this is a data frame, right? So you have to do two lists, like such. Okay, so what this one is doing is compute a rolling average for each day in the period. So rolling average. So a rolling average is the average volume, or the average, or so for each day it's going back a window 20 days, and so then the next day it's going back a window 20 days. Next day back a window 20 days. So is that what's considered a rolling? Because it's a window that's rolling through the list, computing on average through that window. Yeah, right. A rolling average, also called a moving average, is exactly that. It rolls a fixed size window, say 20 days across your data. For each day, it computes the average the last n days of that window. Move forward one day at a time. Okay, so what it would look like. Okay, so now I'm going to define a so then what we'll do is say, okay, so this function computes the rolling average for each day, then computes the relative volume for each day as if we were backdating to that curve, as if the past date was curve. Exactly. This pulls 1 year volume data, 1 year of volume data, right? Computes the rolling average. So hold on, this computes 1 year. And then, but this makes a period, what if the period is 365 days? But hold on. But right now, it's taking in the same period. So what if right now it's getting only a history for 1 year? And so if you give it a period though of 365, it's going to try to go back 365 days to the 365th day in the past, which will have no values, basically all NA except the one, the first value in the list, right? You completely understood the edge case correctly. Let's break it down carefully because there's important nuance in rolling calculations of what's under the hood. By doing history 1 year, volume out extracted of the history for the past year, and then rolling average of that volume. Let's say you pass in 365. Well, the data returned by history only gives you 552 trading days. Markets aren't open 365 days a year, so your window 365 only means to compute the average of the previous 365 rows, but you only have 252 rows in total. That means no window will ever completely fills completely, so the entire result will be non-empty. The only possible non-empty non-NaN would occur if you have more than or equal to 365 daily entries, which you won't with 1 year of stock data. What this means practically fails almost all NaNs. So you're understanding. Check available history dynamically. Right, so you have to do the request period. Max if the period is less than else, or just do max altogether. Option true is to raise a warning or a cap. So if I just do, here is max, I can just change the period in the history max. Return all available data history. This ensures you always have enough data for any reasonable rolling window. It avoids the NaN issue entirely because your rolling window can now fill up even for large periods. Right. I could save a little time by doing the conditional you said, but I don't think it's bothered me. You could just do this conditional, right? If period is less than 100, fetch period is 1 year. If it's less than 365, 2 years, else max. Whatever, it's not really that big of a deal though. So let's go ahead and do this git add, git commit. I'll actually, yeah, we'll say add git relative volumes to stock. What's going on, Anand? Hey, Lance, how's it going? Let me throw back in the headphones now that these are probably charged. I can actually hear some tunes. Hey, let's go. Okay. And let's push this up. All right. Cool. So now what I want to do is let's write a function here, a class method, def stock, or def, sorry, we'll do a class method, and we're going to do plot data, right? We're going to do plot data, so we'll do plot data And then we're going to do, sorry. Or we'll do stock.plot. Yeah, plot data. And then what we'll do is we will we'll plot data, and then how we will do this is we will say y vals, which is going to be a list, and then x vals, which is going to be equal to a list of whatever floats, right? Float or int, I guess it doesn't really matter. And then we're going to return none. It's just going to open up the plot. And so we're going to use, we have y finance in here, so I think we can do yf dot, no. Do we not have, how do you do this? I forgot. Oh. From matplotlib import pi as plot. It's the same thing. Was installed. Okay. So let's go plot. Plot dot. Plot args x files show me an example of not with my stuff. Okay, x data, y data, x2, y2. You have plot, which is your figure and your axes, and you plot axis dot plot, axis dot plot, axis dot plot onto the overall figure. Huh. Okay. Gotta remember how to use matplotlib here. X2, Y2. It's plotting 3 lines, plot, 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 all in the same plot. Gotcha. Okay, so if I want to do plot data, takes in a list of y values and x values, and then so it goes x, y. Right? I'll change this up just so it's consistent. X, y. So this plots the x values and y values onto the plot. And then calls plot.show. Right? And okay, well, let's keep it simple for now. Okay, we'll say x value, we'll say x label is going to be a string, y label is going to be a string, and we'll do plot dot x label equals to x label, and then we'll do the same thing for the y label. Okay, and then I'm gonna say plot, which is a bool, which is equal to false, right? We're going to say if plot call stock.plot data, and we'll call period is the integer that we're getting relative volumes over, right? It's be the length of rolling averages or the period. So that's going to be the x data, and the y data is going to be the values. So the x data is going to be the period, and the y values is going to be the relative volumes. Or sorry, no. This is our result is equal to this. Now we're going to be here and say if plot, right? We're going to return the result. X label is going to be relative volumes over last And then we'll put in here the period, trading days, right? And then the Y label will be, oh no, this will be trading days. Y label will be relative volume, right? And then we want to add a title here as well. So plot.title label equals to title. And then we're going to do title equals to a string as well. And we'll put a title in here of relative volume over the period trading days, right? And then what we're going to do is return, no matter what, the res. Cool. So if I go into testing now and we call stock.get relative volumes for the past period, let's say 20 days. And let's round the digits to, let's say 3. And let's plot true. And then we capture this in res here. Okay, so they're different links. Okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha. So it's not the period then, it's a list of the period times the length of the res. Oh god. It's not working. Yo, what's up? How's it going? Biochemist, how's it going? My day job, I'm a chemist. I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry, and I work as a formulation chemist for a biotech company. Been learning Python for fun mainly, and for teaching myself new skills, and seeing what I could do with it. Okay, so what's going on here? It's a lot of volumes. It's a lot of volumes. I don't think it should be that many. Something's wrong here. Okay, so we're getting history for the max, and we're getting all the volumes. And then we're computing a rolling average across volumes, and our window is the period. And we're computing a mean for every one of those rolling averages. So what happens if I print rolling average here? God. What the heck? It should be working. Oh. Okay, so it's a data frame, right? With 11,000 entries in it. Right, it's a data frame with 11,000 entries in it. So that's the rolling averages for each of the periods. And I compute volumes divided by rolling averages, get relative volumes. And you drop all the NAs. But this is doing it for every single one. Okay, so we want to do volumes index. And we want to get the entire history and the volume out of it. Okay, so I need to go to, okay, so I have 20 days. I have a 20-day period, I need 20 averages. Okay, for every day in the period, I need to go back and get history for that period. Okay, hold on, let me try this. For day in the period, I need to go back and get the history is equal to self.yfticker.history for the period of equal to the period equal to we're going to go back and get the period equal to 1 year, right? And then what we're going to do is go get the volume out of this. So volume is equal to history key of volumes, right? We're going to get all the volumes out for 1 year. And we're going to take a slice of this from the negative period up until the front here, right? To exclude the current day. And then what we're going to do is that gives us all the volumes within. Okay, so if we need 20 rolling averages or 20 relative volumes, right? Or 10 relative volumes or whatever. So we're going to loop through the period that we're wanting, and we're going to get the history back to 1 year for each one, and we're going to get the volumes for all the 1 year history, and we're going to compute, and we're going to slice off out of that 1 year either the entire 1 year or just whatever the period is up until here, right? For the past 20 days. So 20 days in the past, each getting 20 days in length. No, so maybe I should do days here and period. right? So for every day in days, right, we're going to loop through and get the volume. No. I'm so stuck. Because this is not what we want. We don't want a rolling average. I want the amount of days, how many days we want relative volumes for. Huh. I'm so trolling. So this is giving me the volumes for the past 11,000 days, right? Okay. Now, what if I want Some of the fire alarms going off. So if I say days int, okay, for every day in days, right, we want to go back that far. So this would be 0, 1, 2. I don't know, I'm trolling, dude. No, so we need to go for I in the range of days, right? I don't even know what. No, so I am trying to get relative volume for the past X number of days. Someone's got to turn off their fire alarm. There we go. I'm trying to get relative volume for the number of days, but am having trouble. I want them all to have the same period. Okay, hold on. So let's break this down. I need to loop. I want to get relative volume of this stock for the past X amount of days. Okay. So if that's the case, I need to get the volumes for the past I'm trolling, dude. My brain is not working right now. I think I'm coming down with like a cold. Okay, so we need to loop over the number of days. But I need to get same period. Current volume. Average volume over the past X days. usually arise from fetching inconsistent fetch history. Okay, yeah. So days. So if days, we'll say trading days. If trading days greater than max periods, we want to raise a value error here. Right? So we're going to say, okay, for every trading day, for every blank in trading day, range trading days. Yo. Don't turn that off. Nobody want to hear that. Nah, Jimmy Boats, I don't want to use that. That's too much of a slippery slope. By doing that, I haven't solved too many of the problems for me, and I don't really learn much. I don't think I'll ever put the AI directly in my IDE until I know what I'm at least doing better. Okay, so for every trading day, right, we're going to get the period of history. So history is equal to self.yf ticker.history for the period of the period, right? And then we're going to take the volume of that history, right? We're going to take the volume of that history that returns volumes, the mean, the average volume. Wait. No, this is doing the same thing. This is going to get the history. This is going to get the history of every of the ticker for that period. Oh my god. I am so confused. This is going to get the... So I need to... Okay, gotta break this down. I need to... If I want to get the relative volume for the past 20 days, okay, I need 20 relative volumes. So I need to do a loop 20 times. Okay? So that would be the trading days indicator. Now the period is basically the relative volume period window given on each of those trading days, right? So that you have a trading day, you take the volume, the period from the past, and then you compute on that trading day. for every trading day, I get history of the period. No, I want to get the history up front and get the volume up front. And then I need to go back. Okay, so I have to get the history and the volume up front. And let's get the maximum history. And all right, and we'll get the volume out of here. And then we're gonna loop over trading days. For the range of, this gives you a list being the last entry is the most recent. For history is 0 index most recent or last is the oldest row, then it gives the most recent row. Okay. So we have a data frame of volumes here. Okay. Now, if I want to I'm so trash, dude. Now I'm looping over all of the trading days to gather all the information. Now, what I want to do is let's do I here, and let's do 1 up to the number of trading days, plus 1, right? To not include the current day. And let's go ahead and say we want we want to go into the we want to go into the volumes data frame and slice off sub volume is equal to this, where we go history, we would say volumes dot ilocate, going back from the negative first value up until I. So it'll be 1 plus 1, which will be 2 minus 2. Now then this would be at the period. So you take a slice of the volume, right? You take a slice of the volume from the period, going backwards from the negative second, negative third, negative fourth, through the period. Now, would this be probably negative period, right? And then this would give you a data frame of subvolumes. And then you would do well, you have to, because this goes in by sub-volume. Right, we want to go to the number of sub-volume, and that's a data frame. And then we want to take the volume average of that, and then the most negative one in this list, right? So let's just take this. Let's say I'm going to get some more info here. Okay, so this is what I have so far. I am trying to loop over the X number of past trading days and find a relative volume with a window size equal to period for each of the daily volumes. Right? Relative volume with a rolling window for each period. This is the tricky part. You're just typically slicing with this. Here's a clean way. Okay, so let's see here. I normally don't look at the code it writes that much, but I want to try to learn this because I'm struggling. So we get the history and the volume up front. And if the trading days, all right, we have that error here. So the relative volumes, right? We loop over the number of trading days. Loop over the last trading days. If the if I plus the period is greater than the length of volumes, get the slice for this day, the last ith plus 1th day, 0, 1, 2, so 0 trading day, so let's look at the current trading day, the past one, so the window equals to the negative, really, huh. Because the previous period for the current day. Right, yeah. So the I increases and that goes down. So it'd be period plus 1 plus I. Okay, so you don't put the period here. You put the period, we were kind of close. I plus 1 plus period here. All right. And then up through negative I plus 1. Right, because we need to go up to dynamically on I as well. This will get the current volume, or the window volume, right? And then we would take the current volume is equal to just that location, right? From that final index here. Right here, right? And then we have the relative volume. Got you. Okay, so then it just does this, which computes the relative volume is equal to the current volume at this, right? It got the last index for this current loop. And then this is that range in total, which was the subvolumes. dot mean. And then we have relative volumes, and then we say result is equal to a list here, and we'll just append the volumes to the result. And then we're going to say if plot stock dot plot data given x values is the length, the result, or trading days, really. Or sorry. Is list range list range of the trading days. So this goes to just in the range of trading days. Okay, right. What's going on, Josh? What's going on, Jimmy? Hey, King Hat. How's it going? Do you have a job in your current major? Yeah, I work as a chemist, formulation chemist for a biotech company. Right. So we'll convert the list range of trading days, Y values, will be the result, X label. Or do I have that saved here somewhere in my past snippets so I don't have to copy it over again? Hey, who's that? Kakaroto. Hey, Tim, how's it going? We're doing good. We're struggling on this one, though. We were getting some. No, okay. Gotta retype out this stuff. Ugh. Okay, so the X label will be trading days. The Y label will be relative volume. And then the title will be relative volume over trading days. Period equal to period here, right? Now, no matter what, you're going to return the result that you get. So now we run testing here. Trading days. So trading days equals to 20 as well. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, we got something here. Oh, gosh. That was rough. Okay, so we got the relative volume over 20 trading days. So we'll over 20 trading days. The period daily, we'll say rolling window equals to that. We run testing here. Have you watched any of Martin Shkreli's stock streams? I've seen a couple of his stuff. I honestly don't know too much about them or what his things, his streams, but uh, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna say anything for or against because I'm pretty ignorant, but I will say I think you should be careful taking, advice if you're looking for advice from people that are committed. I think he's a convicted felon for fraud. So take that with a grain of salt, right? Let's look. I think he's a convicted felon. Convicted of securities fraud. Yeah. Yeah, so just be a little careful. Okay. Cool. So that gives us the relative volume over the past 15 or 20 trading days, right? Nice. With a rolling window of 20 down. So we see we get this huge spike recently. No, not recently. Recently would be at the 0, right? So in the past, like about 20 days ago, we got a huge spike in relative volume. Is that what that's saying? I can't even read my own charts. Okay, so interesting. Okay, so the relative volume is obviously between 0 and some positive value, positive float value. And then the trading days, how can I specify the plot to show all ticks? How to force all ticks to show on matplotlib. Set method explicitly sets the data. All right, so alternative. So I'm wondering maybe we could extract out this date, right? We're getting the volume for the past 20 trading days, right? So let's go here. Let's do xvals is equal to volumes dot ilocate, or the volumes, or yeah. No. History so the xvals is the history that's the volume. If I print volumes and I run here, whoops. Okay, so that is volumes with the date. Okay, so if I go xvals is equal to volumes dot ilocate, or sorry, volumes dot index date dot index locate I can't do this? Okay, whatever. I'll just do the ilocate, and I want to locate on the range of the last 20 trading days, right? Or the last X trading days. So it'd be I'm so bad at slicing. Be trading days -1. Start, stop, step. So we want to go backwards. Now X vowels. It says no, we want to just get out from the last bit of the list. Yeah, trading days in the direction of -1. Oh, I'm so trash. I want to get the last. There's a -1 index, but no, I want to take a slice from the negative first value all the way up to the negative trading day value. So it'll be negative trading day plus 1. No, -1? I don't know, dude. Up until the negative first. And then we do I don't think that's gonna work. No. History has no date. Print history columns to list here. Open, high, low, close, volume, dividend splits. There is no date. So I think it's the index. How to access the index column in data frame? Index isn't a regular column by default. It's a special object or several ways to access depending on what you want. df.index values is an array of index values. Okay, so if I get the index values, so let me type in, let's print out, not history, let's do dot index. What? Is that all it is? Is data frame dot index dot value count, not value count. Okay, so dot values. It's a property. Okay, so There they all are. Now I wonder what happens if we just slice off the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 characters. So this gives us the history values, which is still a data frame. No, it looks like a list actually, sorry. What is the type? A NumPy array. Okay. Okay. So I'm curious to see, okay, what if we can get, we have the history here. Okay, so let's go into history and get the index values, which are the dates, and then get the list, right? And then we'll say xvals, we'll say dates, and then xvals is equal to dates slice of up to the negative trading days. Okay, we're off by 1. Okay. So then what I'll do is we'll go into xvals and say xvals is equal to a list where we say val slice 10 for val in xvals. Int object not scriptable. It's an int object. So let's go for date in dates. Print the dates. Interesting. Oh, these are the index values. But why are these? Are the dates the index values? And the time series is like a stock data. If I find the index is usually the date time index, so the values for dates are timestamps. df.index. Is this... Okay, so that's those. So then we have dates here. Index. So we'll say x values is equal to date for date and dates. Timestamp object not scriptable. So if I can go let me look up timestamp to stir. Just date. Date time. Okay, so if we want to go, we have the dates here, which are date time off, which are date time off, which are pandas date stamps, right? We need to for date and dates. Why did that? So these are date stamps. Date stamp to date stir. Okay, so if we do this here, dates, or hold up. So index. And then we do this thing here. There's just this method you can do right here at the end. Dot stir at format time. And then you strip off those. And then, okay, so okay. So then can we the thing is though is this is dates. whereas the negative now we want to reverse this though, because the most recent date I don't know. Who is that? Who is that? Hey, thank you so much. Tia Go Degu. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. Hey, how's it going from Brazil? That's awesome. Working on a stock project. Hey, Taco Rolly. Appreciate you for joining me here. Okay, so how to tilt the x-axis tick labels using the rotate parameter, rotation 45 on plot.x ticks. Plot.x ticks dot rotate equals to 45 rotation. So if we run testing here, this is what we get here. Definitely need to do some improvements here. So this gives us the last 20 trading days of data. So we had a lot of volume on the 9th, which makes sense because that was Friday, the day of the crypto crash. So I think we got it. I think we are figuring this out. So I think it makes sense here because Friday the 9th, October 9th, or 10th, sorry. 13th, 10th. No, maybe not. How to spread out the ticks light padding visually. X ticks show only every other tick. Or you can do max and locator. Max 5 ticks, limit the number of ticks. Set tick frequency. So what if we rotate like 180 or 90, I'm sorry. So that it's perfectly straight up and down. Okay, so now we're getting that. So we can see that the 9th, now let's add in some grid. So grid. How do you add in grid? So plot grid true. Okay, plot.grid. So it's all on this plot object. See, I learned matplotlib and then I don't use it for a couple months and I gotta relearn it. Okay. So definitely on the 9th, we saw that massive spike in volume, which could indicate, right, that 10th that we saw, that massive crash, because we had a bunch of people load up and sell on the 9th, or maybe we're off by 1 here. Because we're doing the 13th. We're not doing for the current day. So what if we just actually plot... I don't understand your language. I'm a beginner in Python. I was looking for information about it. Do you speak Portuguese? You speak English? I'm guessing you speak English. Being that you're typing in English? But what do you mean you don't speak my language? Yeah, we're doing a stock project. We're trying to... Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so hopefully, maybe YouTube has like... I think YouTube has auto-translate on my videos. You can watch them in Portuguese, probably. That's kind of funny. So the thing that's kind of interesting is I don't have any way to like test this. Like I don't have like correct answers calculated to test. I'm gonna throw this guy in to, let's see how it likes this. How does it like our overall function? Okay, how does this look overall? Overall, this function is solid and thoughtfully designed. You're now computing a rolling relative volume series for multiple days with optional plotting. Rolling calculation correctly computes the current volume divided by the mean of the previous period volumes for each day. Rolling back trading days, right? Excluding the current day from the period average, which avoids look-ahead bias. Flexible parameters. Trading days, period, rounding digits plots make it configurable. The rounding digits parameter is useful for neat outputs. Plotting integration. Optional plotting is nice. So if trading days is greater than the max periods, raise the value empty. Okay. I need to put that error there, which is fine. I'll take what it says. It'll make my life easier. I'll take the string. Why not? Okay. And then the for loop with iLocate slices work, but for large databases it could be slow. Pandas rolling.mean could vectorize the calculation. So it would look something like this, where you would do history volumes. Dates is equal to history.index str format time. X values is dates, negative trading days. Right, up to negative trading days. So you have this. It's saying I could do this. Rolling means oh, if I wanted to avoid all of this together. Who is that? I love JavaScript. So thanks for the follow. You'll have to message me on Discord. I love JavaScript and give me some JavaScript tips, dude. I'm so bad. Oh my gosh, like I don't know what it is about JavaScript, but my brain just does not want to learn it. Hey, Ark, how's it going? How was your stocks last Friday? Were you seeing red? See, I'm a data scientist kind of guy, JavaScript, so I've been avoiding that stuff like the plague, and every time I have to kind of learn something about it, I'm just like, oh my god. I just can't avoid it though. It's everywhere. Like, you want to do anything on the web and like anything modern, you gotta know it. It's just like so frustrating. I need to take like a weekend and do like a boot camp, like a weekend boot camp of just JavaScript for 48 hours straight or something like that. All right, so this is what we're doing. This is what we've got so far. Why are we getting some, hold on. So plot is being cut off on the bottom. I want to see why is it become use the layout, automatically adjust spacing. Plot.tight layout is a method that will automatically adjust the spacing. Plot.tight layout. Tight. Oh, nice. Okay. So, as you can see, around the 9th, on the 10th, exactly. So we were off by 1. It was on the 10th, so this does make sense. On that Friday, we saw 3x relative volume, right? And we started to see relative volume start to spike even on the 9th. So this could have been a clear indication for us to try to catch that move that happened on Friday. That crash that happened, we could see here in this chart that our relative volume starts to drastically increase up past 1.5 into the 9th, into 2 on the close of the 9th. And then on the 10th, that day of the crash, our relative volume peaked over 3, right? Which is almost over like whatever, almost like 6x over the average of about 0.5, right? So that could have been a tell for us, right? That could have been a tell, like, okay, there's something going on in the market right now. There's a lot of interest going into into the stock for Apple right now, into selling pressure, right? Interesting. Here we go. We got something here. Okay, let me go ahead. I'm gonna screenshot this. And I'm gonna throw it into my Egypt and I'm gonna say, okay. Oh, that's our Discord. Jump in the Discord link down below if you want access to all of our resources, completely free roadmap for all of my learning in there. Join me in there and message me in there. It's awesome. I chat with you. Talk about stocks, talk about code. Okay. Can I not paste an image in here? Ooh, can't do the model. Need to wait for my thing to expire. No. Okay, whatever. Okay, so I mean, that's pretty cool. Taco JavaScript is so cool. My favorite software engineer streamer. I wish. I'm not there yet, dude. I can't take that title. I feel like imposter, man. Red sus. I can't, man. There's so many people that I feel like are so much more advanced. Like I don't know. Like I try not to have like comparison and whatnot, but it's brutal. Like watching some of these videos on YouTube of these people that put out like, oh, I wrote this physics simulator in C and it maps out the entire world. It's like, bro, I'm trying to figure out how to calculate the relative volume of a stock in Python. It's like, oh, I just feel like kind of like weak compared to some people, but like it's all relative and it's all, and you can't do that because it'll just kill your vibe and your attitude. Like it does not, yeah. You know what I mean? Okay, so I wonder what if we increase this period, right, to 50, right? So this will average now for every trading day in the past trading days, it'll take the last 50 days of data for every trading day, right? So let's try to run this now. How does this look to our previous one? So pretty similar, right? Obviously, it's going to be pretty similar. I'm just curious to how much does this change, right? So if you do a whole year of averaging, it really doesn't like change that much. Let's do the past 5 trading days for 365, and I'm going to print res here. I'm going to do for I in range of 5. We'll do I there. Okay, so now if we run here, what? Oh no. Days. Let's do a tuple. We'll do a list and we'll go 10, 20, 50, 100, 365. For I and P, we're going to go here and do the P is here. Okay, let's do that. Let's see what happens here. P index of I. My bad. I'm trolling. For every integer in P, no, you just do I. Sorry. God, dude. I gotta go to bed. I'm trolling you guys. There we go. Okay, so this is over the past 5 days. It's a pretty crappy view. Actually, we'll do this. Let's do over the past 50 trading days. And let's try that. Okay. Wow. Hold on. Let's maybe do 20 like we did before. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, so let's see how these values kind of compare. So interesting, okay. So as you increase the days, you definitely get more better averages. So it looks like that 10 is pretty weak. It gives you some pretty skewed values, but then like here, it kind of is all over the place. You have 1/3, you have 1.132, 1 almost, 1.1, 1.1, or this is like 1.5. So that 10 is pretty terrible. So it might not really matter what period you choose, whether it be 10 to 320 to 365 for the period. It might give you the same typical results, right? So let's kind of click through these. Yeah, 0.64, 0.64, 0.64, 0.63, 0.82, 0.82, 0.9, 5, So maybe even the 20 is probably a little bad. So let's keep these periods like 10 to the 50, 100, maybe the 200 as well for a period in there. Like a 200 day, like matching kind of like those moving average periods and stuff. Right. So that gives us 64, 65, 63, 63, 87, 85, 84. Yeah, so definitely kind of like in this range of 50 to 365, skipping every, 50 to 100 to sometimes 150, kind of exponentially increasing up in a way. Something's up here. No way I had the same chart. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? Well, it's not the it's going to be like the same chart. It's going to be similar numbers, right? They're just going to be slightly off because I'm increasing the period of range of volume. So there might be some outliers. So what am I doing here for those that are new? So what we wrote up yesterday is we wrote up the ability to get average volumes and to get relative volumes, right? Just for the current day. Now what I wrote up today is the ability to get relative volumes for the past number of X trading days with a period of Y. And this period is, so you go back every trading day, you're going back, and then you're computing a relative volume for that trading day. Well, you have to compute what period are you using to compute that relative volume, which is the average volume in the denominator per the current volume on the numerator, right? So that's how you get relative volume. So is if I'm going back to the previous trading day, going back the next 20 days and taking the average. Then I'm going to the next trading day in the past, going back the next 20 days. That's my period. Going back that period, averaging that period. It's kind of like a rolling window up until the present that's getting averaged. And so the charts, they're not the same. They visually look similar because the results are quite similar. But as you can see, the numbers are different. Like the first number in this run is 6.4. This is 6.5. This is 6.33. So the averages they're similar as we expand and increase the window. But overall, the data is kind of accurate or to one another, or precise to one another, right? Or something like that. I ain't even been checking them no more, man. It's in it for the long term. Oh yeah, and your stocks. Hey, how do you start learning Python? I am a learner. Hey, cars for you. Yeah, I started with a Python crash course in Harvard CS50P. Those two resources together were really, kind of vital in learning the language pretty quickly. I filled the gaps of Harvard CS50P with the Python crash course. It's kind of like an more elementary book, for kind of a cat, dog, pizza, car. But those kind of examples really help to break out those more if you're having to think about what the example is demonstrating as well as the code of the example, then that defeats the purpose if you're trying to learn. To make it easiest on yourself is to use the most bare bones basic example as possible, and so you're focusing on the code rather than trying to understand what the example is trying to show, right? So like if I'm having to understand what dog, cat, pizza is doing, as well as understanding the code of, looping through whatever, a list of pizzas and whatever, so toppings, like if I was using something more complex like this, like using days and periods and stuff, like it would get really, really confusing. But by using like super elementary examples like dog, cat, pizza, I'm looping through a list of toppings that I want on my pizza. Like it's it's very elementary and simple, and it might be kind of dumb, but it's like that's really what solidifies the knowledge in terms of like I don't know. Think about it from like a kid. Like that's what kids are learning, and kids are some of the best programmers. They grow up to be like machines. They like if they start young, and so. Okay, I'm gonna take these values here. I'm gonna copy them. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna say, okay. These are the runs for increasing periods. I do not see any trend for increasing the period, but I do see that the results are somewhat consistent with some variation as more data is implemented. But typically, a large cap stock like Apple, where this data comes from, sees somewhat consistent behavior, is my interpretation. The interpretation makes sense and aligns with what we expect conceptually for a large cap stock like Apple. Remember, this data came from Apple, so the volume on Apple probably stays pretty consistent from day to day, except with some anomalies here and there, and those are what we're trying to capture. But it kind of makes sense for our data here. Sheesh. All right. The relative volume numbers are mostly between 0.55 and 3, with the vast majority cluttered around 0.6 and 1.1. As you increase the period from 5 to 365, the numbers don't show a clear monotonic trend, but they do change slightly. The changes are modest except for a few extreme spikes, likely days with unusually high activity. This is exactly what we'd expect. For a large cap, we heavily traded stock, daily volume is fairly stable. The relative volume won't widely swing just because your rolling window changes. Increasing the period just smooths the baseline, so current day spikes will appear slightly smaller relative to a longer term average. That's why the largest spike slightly decreases around as the period increases. Okay, so the largest spike slightly decreases as our period increases, just because you're getting kind of a more of a nested average of more data, right? If you have an outlier, is less likely to have less weight in the data set if it was large, to pull and shift our skew that way in that direction. The core range is around here. Shorter periods, 5 to 20 days, is baseline is more sensitive to recent volume, right? It's more sensitive. So relative volume is more reactive to recent spikes or dips. Longer periods, 50 to 365, is a baseline is smoother, capturing a more general historical average. Relative volume now looks slightly more normalized. Extreme spikes get dampened, and normal fluctuations are compressed. This smoothing effect is why you don't see a strong trend when increasing the period, but values remain stable and interpretable. Behavior for large versus small caps. Large cap stocks, fairly stable volume, small daily variations, relative volume mostly clusters near 1. Occasional spikes. Small cap stocks, volume can vary widely, relative volume can swing much more, extreme spikes more common. Days with relative volume to 1.5 to 2 might indicate significant participation, potential momentum, or a breakout. Right, okay, so let's try it though with like a stock like Palantir, something with like crazy volume and whatnot, right? Yeah, look at this. It's just all over the place, right? And you can see like these. I wonder what happened on 9/26. So let's go open up like trading view. I have to make an account now. Google stocks. Let's do Palantir. So if we go back to around, what was it, 926? Nothing really happened on 926. Our volume was nothing crazy happened. Like 1010 was when you had that huge dip. How could we check? Hey, keep it cool. Is this on PyCharm? No, this is VS Code. I missed watching the live stream. Call jobs have been so stressful. I haven't had much time. No worries, dude. Just do what you can and try your best. That's all you can do. I appreciate you for coming in. You're awesome. Keep cool. What you've been working on? College apps? Any success in that? That's stressful stuff for sure. Okay, so what? I'm going to print the current volume. And I'm going to remove this. And I'm going to make my period 200 days. Okay. So as you can see, we get a whole unit, a whole magnitude more of volume here, right? Which probably lines up to this day here. This is a print relative volume, print current volume, print, or we're gonna print X vals, index of I, and the current volume. Okay, so then yeah, on the 26th we get a huge spike in volume, which doesn't make sense because Yahoo Finance is not showing that spike. I'm getting a volume of Palantir at 49 million, 41 million at 1013. I'm seeing 7. 70 million. September 26th saw heated discussions on X about Palantir's societal impact, particularly around data privacy, digital IDs, and surveillance. Huh. It's just interesting. Why isn't it lining up with the volume I'm seeing here? 926, I have volume of 44 million. What was the volume for Palantir on September 26, 2025? $44.2 million shares. Huh. Everything's all over the place. Huh. Hey Ray, how's it going, dude? What's going on, my boys? If you guys are here, if you guys could drop a like on the stream, I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. These are the volumes I am getting from Y Finance. According to Palantir's volume which is much higher than the previous. Something in the calculations must be wrong. So we're getting the history. And then we're getting the history's volume. And then my current volume is equal to volumes.index locate the current value of I plus 1 negative. So if we're on 0, it'd be 1 minus negative 1, so we're going to get the last volume in the volumes. And then we're going to get the second to last, the third last, the fourth last. Huh. I don't know. I feel like I'm doing it right. Mine says 100 million, yeah. What if we print... Huh, dude, I honestly don't know, like, where we're wrong here. We probably are wrong, but... Where? getting history volume. And I have to. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I don't know. My volumes are not matching. What? Well, even that, even if it was off by one, what are the volumes for Palantir September 20th through the 30th? I just want you to give me the data points. Okay, so I'll just take this little script here. I'll open up a new file. I'll paste this here. I'll run this. Okay, so that looks, yeah, there they are. You said it was 48 million? It was 40 million? So we get the history. Huh. We're not getting the right volumes that Y Finance is giving. So we're getting different stuff. Like, if you look here, this one here, if we do the download function and print out the volumes for this date, oh, this is 2024. What the hell? $44 million. Right? 44 million shares, right, for Palantir. But if I go into this and I print, right, if I print current volume, I'm printing current volume right here. This is what I get. Getting the max history. Let's just do this. Let's just do history. Let's just do download. Let's just do the download. yfinance.download. Ticker start end. Ticker would be and then we want out of here we want data index of volume. We download all the data here. Volumes equals to history index of volumes. Dates is history index. Now I'm confused. Crap. What is this? Oh, this is the result. Oh my gosh, I don't get this. Like, we're using the result. This is appending into result the relative volume. Ticker Palantir. What? Why isn't it not? I don't know what's going on. I gotta be done. My brain hurts. My brain hurts really bad. I want to fix this, but I don't have the energy right now. Putting the relative volume. Current volume. Why is this giving me back like this weird object? I get the volume history. No idea. Hmm. This isn't working. Okay, so if we look here to 2025, for 926, we get a volume, light blue, of 44 million. Okay, so why is this giving us a volume of 1 here? It's giving us this guy, which is the volume for 10.3. Okay, so we're getting the volumes correctly. It's just mapping them incorrectly. Okay. Okay, so we're getting the history, and then we're converting all the dates, and we're getting all the dates for the negative trading days. Perfect. Okay. Then we're getting all the volumes here. Now let me go volumes dot to.csv file dot csv. And let me get rid of this. Run. Exit out. File CSV here. Okay, boom. Okay, we're getting all of these guys. Perfect. So these are the past, all the volumes for the past, whatever. Nice. So now we're going into our number of trading days. We're going to volumes, locating the current volume at negative, so this gives us this one here, the 14th, the current one. So the volume window is this guy, and it's going from, so I is going to be 0, 1 plus the period, so 21 in this case, negative 21 through 0, negative 1. So we don't want to include the last value though. So do we need a plus 2? No. So the current volume is equal to volumes at locate the index for the negative I plus 1. So on the 0 loop, on the 0 for the I, this would be the negative first index, which will be the last value in the array in the list, which will be for the 14th, which is today. So this is printing the current volume and printing the date that's associated with. But that's not the case. The So the X values are the last negative trading days. We don't want to include the current one though. Right? So the 26th is here at 44.44275. Which is even on here. Which it should be. It's not even going in order. Like, look at this. Huh. Does ticker.history include the current live day? Oh, okay, so it no does not include the current live day. Okay, so we know that the volumes is working. So we're looping over the trading days. We're going to create a sub volume, which is index into volume. I think it's right here is our issue. So the current day is I will go from 0 to 19, negative 20 through negative 40. Just print the current volume. These are the last 20 volumes, which is not true because where is this coming from? 49172000 was the last one. Oh, it might just be reversed. It might just be reversed. So if we just assign x values I forgot how to do this. Is it just not reverse? Yeah. Index object has no value reverse. What? I don't think that worked. um. Okay, so what is going on here? Okay, we have a history where the 0 is the beginning and the end of the list is the most recent. Okay? So we're looping over history here. And so we're okay. So if I print X vals here, that's an index object of a bunch of strings, right? Now I print dot to list, something like that. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we'll do this. To list equals to X. Oh. Okay, so volumes. X and Y format string must not be none. Line 455. Um, I don't know. So this puts, now we have so on the 3rd, we should have a jump. On the 19th, we should have a jump. Nice. Okay, that was it. Right? So print current volume. Or print date index negative I. negative I plus 1. So now if we go here and run on 926.44 million. Okay, then if we go temp here and we run this, okay, so 922 is 45,916,700. 45,916,700. 923 is 62354800. 623543597970. 7231200. 44275800. Perfect. Okay, that did it. So our dates list was flipped, so all we have to do is just flip our result at the end. Um, uh, okay, so but we could probably just flip the dates rather than how to reverse a what was it called? It was a list of timestamp. No. No. Let's print the type of exvals. It's a pandas core index. This is the type. It's not a date time, but a generic index. How can I just take that index list and convert regular list? There are dates here. Dot to list. So now it's a type of list. Perfect. And now we'll just call it X. Dot reverse. And dates index of I here. And then you just return the regular result. So 10. So this is going to, we make the dates, we convert those dates, we go to list xvals equals to xvals dot reverse. That'll be run. No. So trying to do it without like reversing our result. Okay, so I have the history. I get the dates out of the history. I slice off the 20 dates I need. So if I print if I go here, dot to list, then print the xvals here. Okay, I get a list of up until, okay, perfect, for the past 20 days. Now I go into here and I print out, so this is the result. Oh, ah, okay. So what's happening is we're going to the most recent day, right? It's doing the most recent day first. So the 14th is the most completed day, October 14th, and appending that. And then the 13th gets appended, then the 14th gets, then the 12th gets appended. So it's appending to the resolution in reverse order, right? Okay, so it's appending to our resolution in reverse order. So we have to then just go res equals to res flipped, right? And then we print. Boom. Which gives us this. Now if I go here and say print not only the current volume, but print the date index of negative I plus 1, and run, we get this, which puts the 26 at 44 million. Perfect. Nice. Okay, so what was happening? Why we got that bug, you guys? If you guys are still here, for those that are still here with me, thank you guys so much for being here. Hey, Project Turtle Tech. Hey, Hades, thanks for coming me. Coming me. Oh my God, pause. Thanks for coming with me, bro. So what was happening is we were appending to our list the most recent dates first. Reverse returns not. Yeah, reverse the list after everything's been appended. Exactly. Um, I'm not calling it reverse. We just call it res.reverse. That'll probably also work. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we are getting now what we should be getting. So if I print right, cool. And then we go into our temp, which prints out for the ranges. Let's go till 10, 14. Print this. We got eggs out of here. Cool. So now let's match these. So it should be oh, 922 to 1013. So 922 is 459 61670. That should be 623. Yep. 453. Yep. 723. Yep. 442. Yep. 38. Yep. 43. Yep. 451 Yep. 39. Yep. Cool. All right, we fixed it. Oh my gosh, that was an annoying bug. Literally, like just it's so frustrating. Like it's so funny, but it's frustrating but funny that a simple bug is just the list being in the reverse order and not realizing it can throw us off for like a half hour. It's crazy. But I'm quite proud that we were able to print debug our way there. We were able to use print statements strategically throughout our code and within our loop to understand what is actually being conveyed at various scopes, and then use that, and we use a file output to actually output to a file to understand, okay, what's being saved at this iteration. And so we were able to then figure out, okay, it's in reverse order based off of lining up the numbers, and now we're able to figure it out. So I'm pretty proud. It was a tough bug, but I'm pretty proud that we were able to complete that with minimal help from the AI, and pretty much just print debugging our way through it. Yes, Ray. Yeah, there's probably a more efficient way to do it. You have to go the opposite way, to start in the past and append towards the present. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Jimmy. So we do have to eat this reverse right here for whatever trading days we're looping over, right? Because of the fact that the history is given in the zero index being the past and the most recent index being the present. I would have to, I could flip the history right off the bat, or flip the volumes right off the bat, right? If I inverse this volume, then I could loop over the volumes just normally, right? Rather than going in by the reverse. But then I would have to reverse the entire history of volumes rather than just reversing a potentially smaller array of just trading days. So, tomato, tomato. 6, Bruh. Bro, no. Stop. Would it be a good idea to turn these into comments? Yeah, probably. Future me often does forget. Dude, I'm so bad at writing code and then forgetting what I wrote the next day. Right? So we would have to reverse the volumes list in order to loop from the start to the end, and indexing from the start to the end. But that would mean we'd have to reverse the entire history of volumes rather than just a singular reverse for maybe only like 5 or 10 or 20 trading days. So it's kind of like a trade-off. Let's go get some feedback on this though before we call it for today. Okay. I fixed the bug where my volumes weren't lining up. It was because my dates were in reverse order, or were in the inverse order, where the closest date was the zero index rather than the furthest date being in the past being the zero index. And so it wasn't aligning up properly with the volumes for the x and y coordinates. now that I have the res.reverse happening at the end of the resolution, then it's aligning up. I would have to, if I wanted to just loop from the start of the volumes without accessing the negative index, I would have to inverse or reverse the entire volume's history data frame, which could be more expensive than just the resolution at the very end, potentially, is my thought process. Because what if you're only wanting 20 or 10 trading days to reverse versus like, the entire history of volumes? How does this look for one? And yeah, I guess. I don't know. Yes, your reasoning implementation looks solid and the fix makes sense. Your previous misalignment came from the fact that history.index and volumes are chronologically ordered from past to recent, but your loop using I plus 1 negative counted backwards from the most recent day. Your x values were sliced off in a way that assumed 0 was the oldest date, so plotting was off. Reverse res at the end matches the x values to the correct chronological order. You're only reversing the result array, which is the size of the trading days. Reversing the entire history or volume series would be O of n for all of the historical data, potentially thousands of rows, just to fix a small alignment issue. Your approach keeps O trading days at the end, which is negligible, especially for 20 to 50 days. Reverse the full data frame works, but heavier if history is huge and you only care about the last trading days. Vectorized approach with rolling meaning for performance. So we could refactor this into using the rolling approach. Okay, cool. So if I go here then and compute in our testing file, if I compute for Apple, something we're more familiar with, okay, so this is what we're getting here. What was the volume for Apple stock on 10/10 or 10, yeah. Um, 61 million shares. 61 million. 999,100. Nice. Okay, cool. We got it. We fixed it. It's not a video game. You're not computing time. This isn't mission critical. We have to think like that, though. I like to think like, algorithmically and, thinking out those time frames and whatnot. It's good to think like that. Be able to explain your code like that and such. Okay, cool. So we fixed that. So really quickly, it's already 10:30. Oh my God. Um, allowable periods. Trading day query cannot exceed period, max period. Okay, so here we're gonna get all history of the stock. Get the dates from the history and convert to a list of dates sliced by the trading day query. value. Select only the volume from the history. Loop over each, loop for each trading day. And compute a relative volume for each day in the past. For a window size of the period. Reverse the result to match the dates. Xvals. Plot if true and return. Nice. Oh. Trading day plus I minus trading day plus period plus I. Negative trading day plus I index what? You're talking about for the sub volume? I'm not sure. All right, you guys. Hey Zero, I've been coding to myself for a little over a year and a half now. Thanks so much for being here. I'm gonna sign off for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I really appreciate all of the feedback we got today and participation. You guys were awesome in helping me figure out some of these bugs. Let's commit here. Fixed. Add git. Add and plot stock dot plot data. Nice. Cool. So what we were able to accomplish today was computing relative volume over the course of a rolling window of time. So what that means is that for every X amount of trading days in the past, 20 trading days in the past, 30 trading days in the past, 40 trading days in the past, right? I'm going to compute the relative volume for each of the trading days. So we need to go into each of the trading days in the past, get the volume, and then compute an average volume across a period for that trading day. So each trading day then has a period associated with it from the past. So I know we're doing, it's kind of confusing because we're doing a past of the past, right? It's kind of confusing that way, but stay with me. We're computing. Thank you, Hades, for the sub on of the follow on Twitch. Appreciate you so much, my boy. You're awesome. Right. So we're computing a past of the past. So we're going to a past date, getting the volume. We are then going back a period of dates from that past date and getting an average and then computing a relative volume against that, right? So what that's telling us is like at each day in the past, what was kind of the comparison of that daily volume against the past average, and then go to the next date in the future. Now, what's that one? Now, what's that one? Now, what's that one? And it kind of gives us this idea of this kind of moving, rolling average of volume as we move forward, right? And then what we can do is compare that to other indicators like price to determine, okay, relative volume is picking up, price is also picking up, so this could be like a breakout, or if we have these things be correlated in certain ways, like yeah, we could, have the percent change in price versus the percent change in um, in relative volume or something like that, and we could determine like a score or whatever to or strength for a breakout. I don't even know. Like we could really go from here and try to figure some stuff out. So I'm gonna try to keep going with this and adding on little features here and there and see how much we can come up with for kind of computing these stock statistics and stuff. So thanks so much for being here, and I will see you guys in the next one. Currently, this is a private repo. I'm going to keep it private for the most part, but if you would like to participate in this project, message me on the Discord. I would consider adding a couple people to the private repo to participate and contribute to. If we can get some interest in people that are interested in trading and stuff like that. So and wanting to use these tools in their trading. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you guys later. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Maybe what we'll do is even if we get some good working tools here, what we could do is like um, maybe create like a subscription and have people pay like $1 a month or something to get access to the scripts and to the tools so that they could use them for their own trading and then make it fairly cheap. Nothing crazy. I think $1 is fine. But that's something for the future. But maybe I don't know. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. See you guys tomorrow. Have a great evening. I'll see you guys.